The ocean's surface shimmered under the first light of dawn, its rolling waves whispering secrets to the wind. Deep beneath those glittering waters lay the mermaid kingdom of Atlantica, a realm of unimaginable beauty, ruled by King Orbit, a leader known not just for his wisdom, but for his deep devotion to his wife, Queen Valerie. From the day they were wed, the king treated her as his most treasured pearl, but when she became pregnant, his love grew fierce and protective, like the tides guarding a hidden cove. The day of delivery was both joyous and tragic. The palace chambers were filled with the scent of sea lilies and the low hum of healers chanting ancient bird songs. At last, Queen Valerie's cries gave way to the wail of a newborn boy. The child was striking, with eyes like molten silver, skin pale as moonlight, and a faint shimmer in his tiny scales. But Valerie was too weak to even hold him. Her breath came in shallow gasps. Moments later, she was gone. In Atlantica, there was an ancient law, cruel and unyielding. Any child whose mother died during childbirth was seen as cursed, a bringer of death, and by law, must be killed immediately. They were called tide-cursed, believed to have stolen the life of the one who bore them. No matter the father's status, no matter the child's innocence, the law was absolute. When the news of Valerie's death reached King Orbit, his grief was like a storm tearing through the palace. His roar shook the coral pillars, his tears fell into the sea like drops of salt returning home. But he could not bear to see his only son slaughtered in the name of tradition. So he crafted a lie, one so dangerous it could cost him his throne. Summoning the midwife and his most trusted guard, he ordered, "Tell the kingdom the child has been slain and buried beside his mother. Let the elders believe they have witnessed justice. In truth, you will take him far from here, to the land of humans. He will live there until I can abolish this cursed law." The midwife hesitated, glancing nervously toward the door where the voices of elders grew louder. "Your Majesty, if they discover the truth, I will take that risk," Orbit cut in sharply. "He is my son. His name is Bolivia. And you will protect him with your life." The one chosen for this sacred task was Aria, a gentle but fierce palace nanny who had served Queen Valerie since girlhood. She swore an oath on the ocean's heart to raise Bolivia as her own. That night, under the cover of darkness, the king's guard escorted Aria and the swaddled infant toward the surface. They swam in silence until they reached the shimmering threshold between the mermaid and human worlds, a place where the water seemed to hum with ancient magic. There, the guard withdrew a coral staff tipped with a glowing pearl and whispered an incantation older than the kingdom itself. A golden light spilled over Aria and the baby. Her long, iridescent tail dissolved into slender human legs, her scales vanishing into smooth skin. Her hair darkened, her ears lost their delicate fins, and her gills sealed shut. She looked, for all the world, like an ordinary human woman. Bolivia's tiny fins and shimmered skin faded too, leaving him looking like nothing more than a delicate newborn boy. "This magic will hold as long as you remain on land," the guard said gravely. "But if you return to the ocean, your true form will awaken instantly. Guard your secret well." With that, he carried them to the mouth of a quiet river that flowed into the bustling human city of Lagos. There, he placed the baby in Ariel's arms, gave her one last nod, and dived back into the depths. Hidden in the mangroves, Ariel watched over the crying infant as dawn broke. The plan was risky. She had to pass as human, a task more foreign than anything she'd known. The ocean's pull was strong, but her duty was stronger. Fate soon delivered an unexpected twist. Mrs. Judith, a wealthy Lagos woman visiting the beach, heard the baby's cries. She searched the shore until she found him, wrapped in a fine seashell pattern shawl. She looked around, calling out for help, but no one answered. Just as she bent to pick up the child, Aria emerged from hiding, spinning a tale of tragedy, claiming she was Christine, the sole survivor of a car accident that had killed her parents. Mrs. Judith's pity outweighed her questions. "You'll be his nanny then," she said warmly. "What should we call him?" Christine pretended to think. "Ivy. He looks like an ivy." Mrs. Judith giggled. "Then Ivy it is." And so began the secret life of Bolivia, heir to the throne of Atlantica, hidden in plain sight in a human world he was never meant to know. Life in Lagos was nothing like the deep, serene rhythm of the ocean. The air here was hot and heavy, the land felt too still under Christine's bare feet. In Atlantica, she could glide through water with effortless grace, but on land every movement felt clumsy, her balance forever betrayed by the absence of waves. Yet she had no choice. She had sworn to King Obed that Bolivia, now known as Ivy, would live. Mrs. Judith Ecoy mansion was a marvel to Christine. The walls stood firm like cliffs, the floors gleamed like polished shells, and strange human contraptions filled every room, clicking, humming, beeping in ways she could not understand. She learned quickly that her ignorance would be suspicious, so she kept her words few and her eyes wide, pretending to be shy rather than utterly lost. But the greatest challenge was emotion. In Atlantica, mermaids could mimic human expressions but did not truly feel them the same way. Happiness, sadness, grief, all were quieter, like faint tides far offshore. Yet here on land, she was expected to cry when others cried, to laugh when they laughed. She could not, and that unsettled her. It made her feel like an intruder in a world that would never truly accept her. Ivy, however, was different. From the start, he took to human life as though he had been born for it. His silvery eyes, which Christine had feared might draw attention, softened to a warm brown as he grew, blending seamlessly among human children. He learned to walk with quick, confident steps, his laughter bright and full, his curiosity boundless. Christine often found him chasing after stray cats in the courtyard or asking Mrs. Judith's cooks endless questions about their recipes. The boy's adaptability both amazed and frightened her. Every time he called Mrs. Judith Mama in that sweet, trusting voice, a small ache pulled at Christine's chest. He did not remember the ocean. He did not remember Queen Valerie. And if the day came when King Obed summoned them back, would he even want to go? The household itself thrived during their stay. Mrs. Judith, who had long been told she could never bear children, received news that made her weep with joy. She was pregnant. And not with one child, but with triplets. Her husband, Mr. Bernard, was overjoyed, parading the news to friends and family. The mansion buzzed with preparation, new cribs, soft blankets, and freshly painted rooms. For Christine, the news was both a relief and a warning. A relief because Mrs. Judith's joy meant she would never suspect Ivy's origins. A warning because once the triplets arrived, her bond with Ivy might weaken, and humans were quick to forget what wasn't their blood. As the years passed, Ivy grew into a brilliant young man. He excelled in school, showing an unusual talent for computers and coding. By the age of 25, he was one of the youngest and most respected software engineers in Lagos, working in a prestigious tech company in Victoria Island. Christine watched with a strange mix of pride and dread, knowing each passing year brought them closer to a moment she had prayed would never come. That moment began with a pull, a deep, thrumming vibration in Christine's bones, one only a mermaid could feel. It was the ocean calling. The king was aging. The throne was weakening. And the heir, Ivy, was needed. Christine knew there would be no escaping it this time. The first sign came on a humid night in June. Ivy was working late in his apartment, tapping away at his laptop, when he heard it, a low, rhythmic hum, almost like a song carried on the wind. At first he thought it was the sound of distant traffic or maybe a neighbor playing music. But as the night deepened, the sound grew louder, more insistent, vibrating in his chest like the thrum of a drum underwater. He pressed his palms to his ears. The sound didn't fade. It wasn't coming from outside, it was inside him, far away in Ecoy. Christine, still called Christine in the human world but forever Ariel in her heart, felt it too. She dropped the dish she was washing, water splashing across the kitchen floor. The pull was unmistakable. The ocean had been patient for 25 years, but that patience was gone. The air must return. She drove to Ivy's apartment that night, her heart pounding. She found him standing on the balcony, staring toward the distant Atlantic, his brow furrowed. "Christine," he said without turning. "Do you hear it?" Her lips trembled. "Yes, Ivy. I hear it." "What is it?" "It feels familiar. Like I've known it all my life." Christine hesitated, her throat tightening. She had always known this day would come, but she had hoped for more time. "It's not something you can ignore," she whispered. "It's calling you home." He turned then, confusion clouding his eyes. "Home? This is my home." Her gaze softened with sorrow. "No, Ivy. Your true home is beneath the waves." You are not who you think you are. She told him everything about Atlantica, about King Orbit, about Queen Valerie's death and the cruel law that would have ended his life. About how she had carried him to the human world under the king's orders, hiding behind a human name and a human face. She spoke of the oath she had taken, and of the pull they both now felt, the summoning tide. A call that could not be resisted without dire consequences. Ivy's breath quickened. He laughed, not out of humor, but disbelief. You're telling me I'm some kind of mermaid prince? Merfolk, she corrected softly. And yes, you are the heir to Atlantica's throne. The king is old, Ivy. He cannot rule much longer. If you do not return, the kingdom will fall into the hands of those who would destroy it. Ivy's mind reeled. For 25 years, he had lived as a human, studied in human schools, built a human career, and fallen in love with a human woman, Sophia, from his company. The thought of abandoning all of that for a kingdom he'd never seen felt impossible, but the pull grew stronger by the day. He began dreaming of places he had never been, coral towers, glowing kelp forests, vast halls shimmering with pearlite. And always, at the center of it, a throne of black coral, empty, waiting. One night, after another dream of the throne, Ivy woke with seawater on his sheets. His skin shimmered faintly under the moonlight, his brown eyes flashing silver for the first time in decades. Christine's voice was heavy when she spoke. The ocean will not wait much longer. You must choose, Ivy. Stay here and lose yourself. Or return and become what you were born to be. Sophia's laughter filled the small cafe in Victoria Island, the kind of laughter that made people turn their heads and smile without knowing why. Ivy sat across from her, watching the way her dark curls framed her face, the way her eyes sparkled when she spoke about her dream of starting a charity for underprivileged children. He should have been listening, truly listening, but the hum in his chest was louder now, pulsing in time with the ocean's rhythm. Every heartbeat felt like a wave crashing against a shore he had never seen. Ivy, Sophia said, leaning forward to touch his hand, you've been so distracted lately. Is something wrong? He forced a smile. Just work stress. Big project. But Sophia was too sharp to be fooled so easily. It's more than that. You've been waking up drenched in sweat. Last week you called me Ariel in your sleep. The name hit him like a stone dropped into deep water. He glanced away, pretending to adjust his watch. How could he explain something so unreal without losing her forever? That night, he drove to Christine's small flat in Ikoyi. She was already awake, sitting on the couch with her hands clasped tightly in her lap. It's getting worse, isn't it? She asked. Ivy nodded. And now it's affecting Sophia. I can't keep lying to her. Christine's eyes were heavy with worry. If you tell her, she will never believe you. And even if she does, the ocean may not let her come with you. Ivy's throat tightened. Then I'll stay. I'll stay for her. No, Christine said sharply. You don't understand, resisting the summoning tide would destroy you. The ocean calls for its air, Ivy. If you deny it, your body will fail. The water inside you will turn against you. The warning became real 2 days later. Ivy was presenting a software demo to his team when his voice cracked, followed by a violent coughing fit. He excused himself to the restroom, locking the door. When he spat into the sink, it wasn't saliva that came out, it was seawater. He gripped the sink with trembling hands. His reflection in the mirror was changing, his pupils elongating like a cat's, his irises flashing with silver light. For a moment, faint scales glimmered along his neck before fading. That night, the dreams became visions. He saw King Orbit on his coral throne, his once strong form now bent with age. Beside him stood shadowy figures with cruel, jagged fins and eyes like black ink, the council of elders, who had always despised the king's compassion. One of them spoke in a voice like cracking shells, if the heir does not return within the next full moon, we will choose another. And we will not be merciful. Ivy awoke gasping, his bedsheets damp with seawater again. Christine was at his door moments later, her own eyes wide. They've set a deadline, she said before he could speak. If you don't go back by the full moon, Atlantica will crown someone else, and that someone will kill your father. Ivy's stomach twisted. Leaving meant abandoning Sophia, his career, the only life he'd ever known. Staying meant condemning his father, and possibly himself. He stood by his window that night, looking out at the moonlit Atlantic. The waves seemed to whisper his name. The ocean wasn't asking anymore. It was demanding. The full moon hung heavy over Lagos, a glowing coin suspended in a velvet sky. Ivy could feel its pull in his blood, every breath heavier, every heartbeat echoing like a drum deep beneath the waves. The summoning tide had reached its peak. He had until sunrise to answer, or the ocean would decide for him. Christine paced his apartment, her hands shaking. "You have to go tonight. There's no time left." Ivy sat on the edge of his bed, staring at the phone in his hands. He hadn't told Sophia the truth, not all of it. She had a right to know, but would telling her only make things harder? Before he could decide, there was a knock at the door. It was soft but urgent. He opened it to find Sophia, her eyes red from crying. "You're leaving?" she said, her voice trembling. Ivy froze. "Who told you?" "I found the seashell pendant in your drawer," she interrupted. "And the notes? About a king. A kingdom beneath the sea. I thought you were losing your mind, but then. Last night, I saw you in your sleep. Your eyes turned silver. You were breathing water." She stepped closer, tears streaking her cheeks. "Please, tell me I'm wrong." He wanted to. He wanted to pull her into his arms and promise that nothing would change. But the truth was too heavy to bury any longer. "You're not wrong. I'm not. From here. I'm the heir to a throne beneath the ocean. And they're calling me back." Sophia let out a broken laugh. "This sounds insane." "I know," Ivy said softly. "But it's real. And if I don't go tonight, my father will die. My kingdom will fall to people who will destroy it." Her fingers dug into his arm. "Then let me come with you." Christine, who had been silent until now, stepped forward. "Humans cannot survive there. You'd last minutes before the pressure crushed you. It's forbidden." Sophia's eyes hardened. "So you're just going to vanish? Leave me here like I never mattered?" Ivy's chest ached. "You mattered more than you'll ever know. But if I stay, I'll die. And I can't help anyone then." The clock ticked toward midnight. Outside, the ocean's call roared in his mind. His skin was shimmering now, faint scales crawling along his arms. His breath came shallow, tasting of salt. Christine moved to the door. "It's time." Sophia clung to him, sobbing into his shoulder. "Please don't go." He kissed her forehead, holding her as if the world might end, and for him, it was. "I will always love you, Sophia. Always." Then he pulled away, his heart splintering, and followed Christine into the moonlit night. They drove to the shore, the waves raging under the full moon's glow. Without hesitation, Christine stepped into the water, and Ivy followed. As the sea closed over his head, the pain in his chest vanished. His body transformed effortlessly, gills flaring open, tail unfurling in a burst of silver light. In the distance, through the blue glow of the deep, he saw it, the gates of Atlantica, wide open, the throne waiting. He didn't know if he was returning as a savior or as a prisoner of destiny, but there was no turning back now.